National 5 biology students, let's answer this question together. It says, the following represents a food chain from a Scottish river. Pondweed gets eaten by tadpoles, gets eaten by water beetles, gets eaten by pike. Okay, and remember these arrows mean the transfer of energy along the food chain. Now, this asks us to describe the role of the pondweed in this food chain, first of all. Okay, what's the role of the pondweed? And then explain what happens to the energy at each level in this food chain. So let's talk about the role of the pondweed first of all. That's the first part of this question. So let's mention what the pondweed is doing within this food chain. So because it's right at the start of the food chain, the pondweed is a producer. Okay. You could also say it makes its own food via photosynthesis. That would be acceptable as well. Okay. Or you could say it's like a source of energy for the tadpole as well. It gets consumed by the tadpole. Okay. Something along those lines would be acceptable too. On to the second part. We only get a maximum of 1 mark there, so it doesn't matter how you phrase that first point. Pondweed's a producer, pondweed gets its energy from photosynthesis, or pondweed is consumed by the tadpole. Any one of them would be acceptable. So we have to explain what happens to the energy at each level in this food chain as it passes along. Okay, so first of all, the pondweed, so we're only talking about energy here. Okay, so the pondweed will convert light energy, because this is a producer which does photosynthesis, into chemical energy. And we'll remember that from our photosynthesis topic, hopefully. Okay, so that'll be your first mark there. Your second mark is for saying that the energy is transferred from one level to the next in the food chain. Okay, next mark would be for saying that only a small quantity about 10%, which you don't need to quote for this mark, is used for growth. Okay, and if it's used for growth, is available for the next organism or at the next level. Okay, where do we lose the energy? Well, the majority of energy is lost as heat. Okay, we try to keep these organisms warm, so that costs us in terms of heat. That's where the energy goes. We could also mention undigested materials and movement as well. Undigested materials or movement. Okay. Also, we lose energy in those ways. And it's important to point out, this is always true, and it's always a good answer actually for food chain questions, is to remember that energy is lost at each level of the food chain. Okay. And if you make sure you've got that in there, then that'll get you the final mark there. Okay, so 1 mark available for this mark here, and then 3 from the points that I've made here as well. All right, hope that helps, folks, and you managed to answer this question fine. I'll see you in the next one.